Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Hotfix. Today we're going to be talking about EVE Online, and more specifically the way EVE Online interacts with DUST514 or 514, because there's been a lot of this in the news and this is just awesome. Mr. Kirioth, give him the facts, good lord.
Here are the facts, DUST514 or 514, depending on how you look at it. I'm saying 514, it sounds better. It's going to be moving to Tranquility, which is EVE's server. And it's not just moving across the server. Oh, no. They're putting masses of interaction between the two games. Now, DUST514 is an FPS, and EVE is the space simulator, spreadsheet in space, get your spaceship, fly around, shoot people in the face game, as you already know. And the interaction is insane. The Dust mercenaries can belong to EVE corporations. The mercenaries can also start corporations and recruit pilots from EVE Online. The mercenaries can accept contracts offered by faction warfare militias and fight to attack or defend, space stations, like planets, territory, that's the word I'm looking for, defend or attack territory in corporation battles, and it's not even risk-free. The battles cost money. So if the battle goes bad for one corporation, even if they've hired Dust mercenaries, they lose ISK, which is the in-game currency. And this is the best part, and I fucking love this, the game now has orbital bombardments, so you might be running around in dust having a little fight with something, when suddenly, out of the atmosphere from someone's EVE spaceship comes a massive orbital bombardment that smashes the shit out of you. That is a quality amount of interaction, and frankly, despite the fact that I don't really play EVE, and I don't think I'll ever play Dust because it's on the PS3, we'll go into that later.
Why?
Hello, why? What the fuck is that about? It's genuinely exciting, this. It's like two completely different genres of games are being like melded together.
It's fucking awesome. It's just literally awesome. This is like, I am going to make comparisons back to PlanetSide, yeah? And you can kind of do it with any sort of game. In PlanetSide, imagine if you had fleets of ships in orbit around the planet, fighting and bombing the planet, and the fight took place on multiple thousands of planets. That is what this is. That is what CCP are giving us with EVE Online, and it's merging with DUST514, because you have it's almost like DUST514 is PlanetSide, but based off what I've seen, especially with the stuff like where a corporation can issue a contract out to attack a base and stuff like that, or attack a certain planet or an installation. If you had that type of level of interaction in PlanetSide, that would be a hell of a lot better. I don't know how they would do it, but this, to me, like, I know I said before that PlanetSide is my ideal game. I think that's quickly getting replaced behind it's just getting destroyed, because the ideas that are being put forward with Dust and EVE Online are just absolutely mega. The only problem is, who the fucking hell is going to be playing DUST514? Why is it only on the PlayStation 3, which is absolutely baffling to me? Because the way it works is, so if you play EVE Online, you are in space, yeah? You're the guy controlling the ships. That's what you do. Your character can fly ships around in EVE Online. And EVE Online's been out for like 10 years. DUST514 is a first-person game, so it's an FPS. It's exactly like PlanetSide 2. Massive combat, large-scale combat, but it directly interacts with the EVE Online ship universe, yeah? So you've got the entire EVE Online universe, then you've got the DUST514 players who work inside that universe, but they exclusively operate on the FPS. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Like, the level of interaction between these two games in the same universe, it's such a, let's talk about World of Warcraft. So imagine if World of Warcraft all of a sudden had other games in its universe. So EVE Online has created a universe, and it's just plugging new games into its universe. Who's to say that DUST514 is going to be the last for them? Going back to my crappy Warcraft example I just gave, there just could be so much stuff. Warcraft universe, it's unlimited. Let's talk about the Warhammer universe. I mean, that's even better. It's just,
can you imagine having
this idea of crafting a universe and then just plugging games into that universe and having the games all directly affect each other, and one thing you do in one game affects the universe in a different way, but players in the other game can feel it. I mean, if players, mercenaries I think they're called, ain't they, the players in DUST 514, If they start a corporation, which is like a guild in EVE Online, and they have a massive battle fleet and they become notorious as some sort of super army, because of the way EVE works, and EVE is like totally sandbox. There's no questing in EVE, so to speak. You make the game, the players make the game. There's going to be crazy things where like battle fleets get lured into ambushes and just get destroyed on planets. People are going to make false, like bounties on territories, so a mercenary army could move over there and get destroyed from orbit. I mean, it's just crazy. It's so crazy. But I don't understand why it's on PlayStation 3.
The other thing as well is it is ridiculously ambitious. I mean, EVE is already quite the ambitious game. When you look at how, like,
one of a kind EVE is.
Yeah,
one of a kind.
I mean, if you look at it's like one massive
well,
universe.
Let me just cut you off again. Like you said before, you would like to play EVE, but you wouldn't like to play EVE. It's sort of one of these games that you would love to be able to just play. But there's a lot of time that's required and a lot of effort, and it's a completely alien universe. And in essence, it is like all the economic factors in it. It kind of is like living almost a second life. So it is very difficult to sort of get into. But we are going to be working on a little bit of a series for the channel where we sort of play EVE. I think it's Retribution, is it, that it's on now?
Yeah.
We're going to do a few series of videos on that just to give like our impressions. I know I made videos in the past, but this is going to be more of a joint effort just to see what happens. But yeah, sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Kirioth.
I've lost my train of thought. So that's it. I mean, EVE's already really ambitious. You've got a load of political stuff. You've got the fact that in-game items are worth real money in a very real way. Like, you can play the game by paying in ISK, which is the in-game currency. So if you play the game enough, you don't actually have to spend any money to play it because you're playing it enough that you can pay.
Shitload of risk. There's a shitload of risk, ain't there, EVE? Like, the Titans cost billions and billions to even buy the blueprint, let alone manufacture. So if you lose one of them, that is quite bad.
And people have lost like thousands of dollars in actual money shipping stuff. Like, what is it? Is it the card, something card? I can't remember what it's called, but it's the thing that gives you the game time. Someone was shipping a load of that.
Plex, ain't it?
Yeah, Plex. It. Yeah. Someone was shipping a load of that.
Pilot license extension program or something like that.
They got shot some, and they lost it all, and it was worth like what is it, over $5,000 or something? Gone down the drain, just gone. Goodbye. I mean, can you imagine in a universe where there's a political system, an economic system, where you can own territory, where you can defend and attack, where you can get planets for your corporation, and whilst you're getting the planet, you might lose a space station on the other side of your territory because someone else has attacked it. Having a huge ground army that will go to where you want and do what you want, at the same time, it's just made an already like insanely complicated and like just genius system and made it even more insane. I mean, think of the possibilities. You could put like a feint attack in. So you go from one planet, but actually you're deploying all of your ground forces to a completely different planet. So the other corporation sends all their stuff to the one that you look like you're about to attack, but actually it's just part of your fleet you're sending off there and a few ground troops, whereas the rest of your ground troops and the rest of your fleet is making for the other planet. I mean, you could... Oh, God.
It's crazy. It literally is like, oh my God, what the fuck? The idea is so immense. Like I said earlier on, PlanetSide 2 to me was the ideal game. Massive combat, big wars. Okay, it's got its problems, but they're kind of working them out. But EVE's DUST514 is just like, because of the entire infrastructure EVE Online gives it anyway. Both games complement each other, and Dust is opening up the EVE brand to different players, people who wouldn't necessarily... I mean, I would play Dust if I had a PlayStation 3. I don't have a PlayStation 3, and there's no way I'm buying a PlayStation 3, so I would hope this ultimately gets or finds its way onto the PC, because I don't understand why it's on a console. It's so stupid.
I cannot understand why it's PS3 exclusive. I mean, if you look at Steam is selling EVE Online. Why is Dust not on Steam?
Well, just look at Steam. Millions of people use Steam. Yeah. If Dust popped up and was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'd be playing Dust, I would not be playing PlanetSide 2. And that is a fact, yeah? I mean, okay, the game might turn out to be crap and I might go back to games like PlanetSide 2, but it looks so good, so good. You could have your friends. Now, this is if you had friends who played EVE Online. I don't, but if you did, you could say, look, and even then you could make friends in the game. Kiri, I want you to bring over the orbital bombardment ship, right? And can you sort out a transport for the mercenaries or whatever? We're going to go to this planet. While I'm the actual general of the troops, He could be the admiral of the fleet. You know, it's just so ridiculous. It's crazy. I just don't even know what. I mean, I hope this is the future. I hope this more games do this. I mean, it's so good.
I really hope
it's so good.
I hope they pull it off. I hope they pull it off in a big way, because if it's
they're in danger of not doing that because it's fucking PlayStation 3 only. Why?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most ambitious things. It's got to be one of the most ambitious things that's been done in gaming for years, surely. I mean, merging two completely different games into the same universe on the same server and having them interact to that extent. I cannot think of anything else that has gone for something that big. You know, that full of imagination. So, it's like, if they pull it off, we could see a whole raft of people trying it. You could have all kinds of existing games and IPs extended by having other stuff plugged into them to form these insanely awesome universes where, you know, you're playing different games but in the same place, and everything you do affects the things that go on elsewhere. It could really be the future if they pull it off. And I hope to God they one day fucking just put Dust on Steam. That's all we ask. That's all. It's not.
If it's good. I mean, on paper it sounds amazing. Let's face it. We need to, like, I think it's still under NDA, so people can't talk about their experiences. I will be avidly looking for information on this when people who've been playing Dust, and even EVE Online players, can actually openly talk about it. That'll be great. Because up until, like, now, I'm just basically going off my own impressions of what I would like this to be. I don't understand why it's on PlayStation 3, but I can understand everything else. That looks absolutely fantastic. Well, I think, Mr. Kirioth, we'll leave it at that. It's been kind of a short and sweet hotfix, but I think we've said everything we wanted to say. I want you guys to tell me in the chat what you think of this. What do you think of DUST514? What do you think of EVE Online? What do you think of CCP's boldness of joining two games together in the same universe? Are we going to see more of this? I fucking hope we are. I think at that, Mr. Kirioth, I'm going to take my leave, sir.
Toodaloo, sir. Toodaloo.
Yeah, toodaloo, Mr. Kirioth. Oh, before we go, make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Unit Lost Gaming. You'll get all channel updates through that and my crazy madness. And Mr. Kirioth's at Kirioth, and he's just crazy, so follow him anyway. And we'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.